Part 1. The Forbidden Connection. Tela had always been a model prison nurse, dedicated to her work and adhering strictly to the rules. But everything changed the day Dallas became her patient. His presence was electrifying, a mixture of danger and raw masculinity that she couldn't ignore. Despite knowing the rules, do her job, don't get involved, and never let a prisoner get under her skin, Tela found herself irresistibly drawn to him. Dallas was unlike anyone she had ever met. His eyes held secrets and a promise of a life lived on the edge. Every interaction with him sent a thrill through her, a forbidden excitement that she couldn't resist. Tela knew that her traditional Cambodian family would never approve of her interest in Dallas, a black man with a criminal past. This disapproval only added to the allure, intensifying her desire to break free from their expectations. One evening, as Tela was changing his bandages, Dallas grabbed her wrist gently. "Why do you care so much?" he asked, his voice low and rough. Tela's heart pounded in her chest. She tried to pull away, but his grip, though gentle, was firm. "It's my job," she replied, her voice shaking slightly. "It's more than that," Dallas said, his eyes boring into hers. "I see the way you look at me." Tela's resolve crumbled. She couldn't deny the truth any longer. "I don't know what it is about you, but I can't stop thinking about you," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Dallas's grip loosened and he smiled, a rare, genuine smile that made her heart ache. "Then help me," he said. "Help me get out of here." Tela's mind raced. The very idea was insane, but the thought of losing Dallas was unbearable. "How?" she asked, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and excitement. Over the next few days, they devised a plan. Tela used her access to the infirmary supplies to gather what they needed. The risk was immense, but the pull of their forbidden connection was stronger than her fear. The night of the escape, Tela's heart pounded in her chest as she wheeled Dallas down the dimly lit corridors. They reached the back door, and with a final, shaky breath, Tela swiped her access card. The door clicked open, and they slipped out into the night. Freedom tasted sweet, but the reality of what they had done quickly set in. As they made their way to a safe house Dallas had arranged, Tela's mind was a whirlwind of emotions. She had risked everything, her career, her freedom, her very life, for a man she barely knew. Inside the safe house, Dallas turned to her, his eyes filled with gratitude and something deeper, something that mirrored her own feelings. "Thank you, Tela," he said, pulling her into a fierce embrace. As their lips met in a passionate kiss, Tela felt a rush of emotions, fear, excitement, desire, all blending into one overwhelming sensation. She had broken the rules, and there was no turning back. But in Dallas's arms, she felt a sense of belonging, a dangerous thrill that made it all worth it. Little did she know this was only the beginning of her journey into the depths of passion and danger. The line between love and obsession blurred, and Tela was about to discover just how far she was willing to go. Tela's escape with Dallas had set her life on a path she could never have anticipated. The initial thrill of their forbidden connection only deepened as they settled into the safe house. Each day spent together intensified her feelings, and she found herself falling harder for Dallas. His dangerous charm and raw masculinity captivated her, making it impossible to think of anything else. Dallas, with his rugged experience and unyielding confidence, took the lead in their newfound intimacy. He was much more experienced in lovemaking, and Tela's body quickly became his prisoner. Every touch, every kiss, every whispered word sent shivers down her spine, leaving her yearning for more. One evening, the air thick with anticipation, Dallas approached Tela with a predatory grace. "You ready for me, Tela?" he asked, his voice a low, seductive growl. Tela nodded, her breath hitching as she met his intense gaze. "Yes," she whispered, her body already responding to his presence. Dallas didn't waste any time. He pulled her close, his hands exploring her curves with a possessive hunger. Tela felt the world fade away, her mind consumed by the sensations he ignited. His lips trailed down her neck, and she gasped as he found the sensitive spots that made her melt. In the bedroom, Dallas's dominance was absolute. He pushed her to the edge, his touch both demanding and tender. Tela's heart raced as he guided her through the depths of passion, his experience evident in every movement. Her body responded instinctively, each moment a blend of pleasure and submission. Dallas's rough, animalistic lovemaking left Tela breathless. She had never experienced anything like it. His intensity, his mastery over her body, drove her wild with desire. As he moved inside her, she felt a connection that went beyond the physical, a deep, unspoken bond that made her feel alive. "You're mine," Dallas murmured against her ear, his voice filled with a possessive certainty that sent a thrill through her. Tela clung to him, her nails digging into his back as waves of ecstasy washed over her. "Yes, Dallas," she moaned, her voice trembling with a mixture of passion and surrender. Their lovemaking was a dance of power and vulnerability, each encounter deepening Tela's attachment to him. She found herself craving his touch, his presence, his rough yet tender ways. Dallas was a dangerous man, but in his arms, Tela felt a sense of belonging she had never known before. As they lay entwined in the aftermath, Tela's mind swirled with conflicting emotions. She was falling hard for Dallas, her heart and body irrevocably bound to him. But she also knew that their relationship was built on a foundation of risk and danger. The line between love and obsession blurred, and Tela wondered how far she was willing to go to keep him. Dallas, ever the pragmatist, was already planning their next move. "I have something I need to find," he told her, his eyes glinting with determination. "It's worth a lot of money. Once I have it, we'll be set." Tela nodded, her heart pounding at the prospect of what lay ahead. She was in too deep to turn back now. Dallas had become her passion, her obsession, and she was ready to follow him wherever he led. The next morning, Dallas set out to recover the hidden stash of $100,000 he had left behind before his imprisonment. Tela stayed behind, her mind racing with thoughts of their future. She was acutely aware of the danger that came with being involved with Dallas, but the pull of their connection was too strong to resist. When Dallas returned, his expression triumphant, Tela felt a surge of hope. He had found the money, and with it, the promise of a new life together. But as they celebrated their success, Tela couldn't shake the nagging doubt that their happiness was built on a precarious foundation. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tela and Dallas sat on the porch of their cabin, enjoying a rare moment of peace. The air was thick with the scent of pine and the sounds of nature, a stark contrast to the chaos they had left behind. But their tranquility was shattered by the distant hum of helicopters and the unmistakable barking of dogs. Dallas's heart sank as he realized the marshals had found them. "We need to move," he said, urgency in his voice. Tela nodded, her eyes wide with fear. They scrambled inside, gathering what few belongings they could carry. But it was too late. Flashlights pierced the darkness outside, and the cabin was quickly surrounded. Dallas and Tela exchanged a look of resolve. There was no escape this time, but there was one thing they could do: face it together. As the authorities closed in, Tela and Dallas retreated to the bedroom. In the moonlit room, they stood close, their bodies pressed together. The tension in the air was palpable, a mix of fear and desire. "I love you," Tela whispered, her voice trembling. "I love you too," Dallas replied, his eyes locked on hers. "No matter what happens, we'll face it together." Their lips met in a passionate kiss, the world outside fading away. The sound of barking dogs and the shouts of marshals seemed distant, irrelevant. All that mattered was their connection, their love. Dallas's hands roamed over Tela's body, his touch both urgent and tender. She responded in kind, their movements a dance of desperation and passion. As they undressed each other, the heat between them intensified, their lovemaking a fierce declaration of their bond. Outside, the marshals prepared to breach the cabin, unaware of the scene unfolding within. Tela and Dallas moved together with a rhythm that spoke of their deep connection, their bodies and souls intertwined. The intensity of their lovemaking reached its peak, the energy in the room palpable. They held each other close, their breaths mingling, their hearts beating as one. In that moment, their love was all-encompassing, a force that seemed to hold the world at bay. As the door was kicked in, the marshals burst into the room, flashlights cutting through the darkness. But Tela and Dallas were gone. The bed was empty. Room silent. The authorities searched the cabin from top to bottom, but there was no trace of the fugitives. The news spread quickly, reporters incredulous as they relayed the story. Tela and Dallas had vanished without a trace, leaving the world to wonder how they had managed to escape once again. In the quiet of the night, far from the cabin, Tela and Dallas held each other close, their love a shield against the dangers that pursued them. They had defied the odds, escaped the inescapable, and found a love that was true and unwavering. As they walked hand in hand into the unknown, Tela and Dallas knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, their love a guiding light in the darkness. They were never seen again, their story becoming a legend of love and survival against all odds.